When I was in fourth or fifth grade, I think it was fifth grade, I wasn't exactly in the popular group necessarily. No, I definitely wasn't. In hindsight, I was understandably kind of an oddball out in a way. I had my little friend group, but for the most part, there was, as there always is, a popular group. And one that at the time I definitely wanted to be a part of. I had made numerous attempts to make my way into sort of the popular group, if you will, none of which worked. But regardless of the amount of times that I was rejected, if you will, I kept trying to be friends with them. There was one person in particular who I did not get along with. For the sake of anonymity, we'll call him John. John wasn't the nicest person in the world to me. And one day, I think we got into some kind of disagreement. I'm not really sure. But ultimately, whatever ended up happening, we both ended up getting sent to the principal's office. Just me and him and the principal sitting down. We're in chairs next to each other, and the principal is sitting on her desk, looking all intimidating. And among some other things that she said that I can't really remember, she asked him, John, do you want to be friends with Charlie? And he shook his head no. And then she looked at me and she said, Charlie, do you want to be friends with John? And I shook my head yes. And it was kind of like, why would you do that? Like, clearly he doesn't want anything to do with you. Why do you still wish to be friends with him? And for the longest time, I really could not figure out why I would do that. But ultimately, no matter how much I was rejected, I kept trying to find my way into the friend group. And for the longest time, I was just kind of thinking that it was because I just wanted to have approval. But I never really considered that there was just a sliver of a chance that I was just being kind. And that while, no, I didn't like people when they treated me bad, I never truly resented them. I always wanted things to be okay with them. Always. I never held it against any of them. If they would treat me unfairly, and then the next day they were nice to me, I would be the happiest person ever that they were willing to be nice to me that day. And so after a long time being like over 10 years at this point, I've come to kind of realize that when I was young, I was kind of just a kind person. I genuinely cared about other people, almost to my own detriment in a way. And then in the summer between freshman year and sophomore year, I had gone to a summer camp and I met a girl there. We were good friends, I would say, while we were at that camp. But long story short, the camp ended. I had aged out. She had aged out. We were too old to go back to that camp. And so I wanted to keep the connection with her, and she did too. But after a few months, things just kind of didn't really keep going. There was no way, there was honestly no way. So ultimately, I had ended up extremely hurt by this. And that's kind of where it flipped the switch. I kind of just went from being a kind, younger me to being a piece of shit who resented everyone for little to no reason. I ultimately ended up thinking that everyone was my enemy. People were ultimately just out to get me in one capacity or another. If a stranger walked up to me and started talking to me, my brain would go straight to, this person wants something from me. I'm not going to let them take advantage of me. My God, what a miserable way to live in hindsight, obviously. And it wasn't until very recently that I had made a pretty groundbreaking realization for me. After so long of me thinking that everyone was out to get me and everyone is just looking out for themselves, I slowly came to the realization that none of that is true. Sure, there are pieces of shit in the world, but ironically, even they don't deserve to be hurt. because there's a good chance that the reason that they are pieces of shit is because they were already hurt. Just like how I was a piece of shit for a while because I was hurt. It wasn't anything traumatic. I wasn't like cheated on. No one close to me passed away or anything of that caliber necessarily. But at the time, what had happened was kind of my entire world. No matter what anyone is dealing with, it's their entire world. You know, when a kid drops his ice cream on the ground, the world is ending. And you look at that and you say, well, my grandma just died. How can that kid be crying about his ice cream when my grandma just died? How can you compare the two? But to both people, that is their entire world. And so the sentence that I've alluded to in the title and that this whole video is about is that everyone is just trying their best at the end of the day. That's all. It's as simple as that. And that genuinely changed my outlook on everyone and everything. And honestly, has helped me realize that about myself too. Now in the title I said that it was a sentence that helped me love again. And what I mean by that is it's helped me love everyone again, like I did when I was a kid. Being able to look at people that might be kind of mean or angry, I can just look at them and say that person is genuinely just trying their best. You know, maybe looking at someone who has treated me unfairly, I can just think that person is genuinely just trying their best. Even though it sucks from my perspective, they're actually just trying their best to make it through their day, to make it through their life effectively. And it made me think back on, you know, late high school me when I had gotten hurt and then I kind of just turned into a piece of shit. I was able to forgive myself and kind of just be like, I was just trying my best at the time. And that's all you can ever do. So that's what I mean by it helped me love again. It helped me love people in general, and it helped me love myself a little bit more as well. So if anyone ever treats you unfairly, like you go out to eat and the waiter is kind of an asshole, just remember he's just trying his best. You're going through a breakup or something, just remember that they're just trying their best. If you can walk through life and just remind yourself that sentence every day, it'll help a lot. It did for me. So anyway, holy fucking rant. One thing I forgot to mention in that endless rant is that I'm still working on this day to day. I still have a number of bad days where I'm having issues trying to set my ego aside and be a nicer person. So just know that it takes time. This, mindset definitely helps a lot, but it's not an instant fix. But it's something that you can just keep reminding yourself to work towards. With that being said, I know this is a little bit of a different video than usual, but thanks for tuning into my rant. I'll see you next time. I'll make that work, I guess.